So it's not about the choosing like the who has the most expensive or the best geisha in those competitions. But when it comes to this is one perspective, right, from the judging side. But when it comes to competitors, they essentially look at the previous champions and the winning coffee producers. So it's becoming limiting that if you go back and see, it's just like a repeating set of patterns of the same specific profiles, coffees, and origins. And that's limiting because it doesn't really go beyond the stage, and it doesn't go really to everyday coffee consumption for consumers.
If you're starting or growing your business in these volatile times in coffee and you need a little extra support, our scope of business advisory services may be just what you need. Join one of our hugely successful mastermind groups for support in a group setting, or send us an email to discuss our one-on-one consulting and business advisory services, where we'll work with you one-on-one to solve specific problems in your coffee business. All our services come with a 100% money-back guarantee, so send us an email at support@mapperforward.org and let us know how we can help you today. Welcome to the Mapper Forward Middle East podcast, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 3 of a beautiful 5-part series with Reza Kosar from Slick Coffee Co. We are talking about what is quality in the coffee industry, and in this episode, we're going to talk about Lee's favorite subject, coffee competitions. What role do competitions play in quality, Reza?
Well, I'm not quite sure how competitions play a role in quality, but they have been one of the most visible forces in shaping coffee communities and showcasing the barista career, for sure. And they've pushed innovations, of course, created aspiration at every level, from producers experimenting with different like processing methods and to baristas refining extractions and all. It's incredible, really, to see like being a judge and being in those settings for many years now, being behind the scenes. It's really like incredible that you can learn from everyone, all judges, organizers, competitors. They're all there voluntarily for the love of coffee. It's a really difficult job, to be honest. It's spectacular, but the question that I also like have in mind is that relevant? Does it go beyond the stage? And we saw that that's not always the case, right? So it's not about. I mean, we've come a long way in the coffee industry in general, especially for specialty coffee and the choice of coffees that people use in their competitions, right? Especially for those type of competitions that they get to choose the coffee that they want. So it's nowadays it's not about the quality of their coffee that they are competing with, right? This is their skills. It's the quality of people. It's the professionalism, the concept, the experience. So it's in other parts of the competition that people get to choose only one coffee and they have the same coffee. Those skills are more measurable, or like you can test that. But in barista competition and brewers competition, that you get to choose your coffee, it's becoming more limiting and more challenging, because more or less the coffee is having the same kind of like profile, and that's they're all excellent, of course, but it's not about who has the best quality coffee. And
but doesn't that
it has
unto
a way
itself,
of,
sorry to interrupt you there, but that's really a fascinating point. doesn't that unto itself mean that the people who are going to compete at a certain level, it's not because of their skills, it's because of their wallet and the coffees they can afford to buy?
Well, this is one of the critics that most people in the industry have. And I know that people who are working in the rules and regulations committee, they are every year they're trying to work on this to improve it, to provide more basis to basically like put people
On a more even playing
compete,
field?
yes, against each other. Like, but again, like what happens is that it has a way of narrowing the definition of quality. When you have a score sheet and a 10-15 minute routine, quality becomes what fits in those parameters. So you pursue what scores well eventually.
So we're judging the coffee rather than judging the performance, essentially.
Well, recently not anymore, because again, like the new score sheets are designed in a way that that's one part. That it's there. You have the coffee, the experience of the judges, but also there is the accuracy of if you know your coffee well, and also like the presentation, the concept, the theme. You know, it's a whole package. So it's not really like coffee focused, and this is something that they are trying to fix, as far as I know. And it happened also in the recent years that changed. It's not about the choosing like the who has the most expensive or the best geisha in those competitions. But when it comes to this is one perspective, right, from the judging side. But when it comes to competitors, they essentially look at the previous champions and the winning coffee producers. So it's becoming limiting that if you go back and see, it's just like a repeating set of patterns of the same specific profiles, coffees, and origins. And that's limiting because it doesn't really go beyond the stage, and it doesn't go really to everyday coffee consumption for consumers. You know, that's what I meant. Like it's spectacular, and it's there to celebrate that a spectacular coffee or moment or the professionalism and skilled barista. But that's not the coffee that we drink every day, or consumers get to drink every day, or producers get to produce every day. Right? That's a very tiny fraction of what we talk about when it comes to quality and production and coffee in general. And that's becoming a very predefined quality because of the patterns of repeating, of winning the same kind of like profile.
If I hear this, from a lot of people that have judged where they say, you know, this person said that there were, you know, I don't know, raspberries or whatever, and I couldn't taste it, so I couldn't score them on that. I couldn't score them well on that. My question here is that what if the competitors' understanding of raspberries and the judges' understanding of raspberries is different because of cultural palate?
Yes, it could be. And that's very valid and fair point, and it happens.
Yeah.
That's why we have like different judges, and like the role of the head judge also there is very important, because like if there are like, you know, just in the panel there is an agreement that there was berry It doesn't necessarily need to be like raspberry. So you get raspberry, someone else get like strawberry or any type of berry. The competitor gets the point because like judges are there for the competitor to support them. But that's on another subject when it comes to like subjectivity and objectivity, and just when you talk about like specifically flavors, that's a very valid point, and that's how chemical compounds show themselves. There could be some one specific compounds like benzaldehyde at the same time can be almond and cherry, right? Or you have different fruits and food in your country that you can immediately think of, and it just like increases the recognition for you to think of that. For someone who doesn't have that shared knowledge and experience with you, they relate it to their closest fruit that comes to mind.
Right.
So everyone is right. It's not about that.
So if everybody's right, how do we assess the quality of the judging, the quality of the understanding? How do we assess all of that in that environment? Like, it's a very highly charged environment. And because of that, that's going to mess with your perceptive skills anyway. Doesn't matter how many people say to you, ignore the fact that you have a particular bias towards this competitor. If they're an Instagram famous person and you really like them, no amount of conditioning is going to stop you from having a bias towards them. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's straight up the way that it is. And you should be disqualified from judging that person anyway. But these are things that will be an unconscious bias, sometimes more conscious than others, but this will be something that factors into this. And how do we handle those kinds of like ideas of quality when it comes to competitions? Because we put so much on these competitions in this industry. It's almost disturbing how much focus is put on competitions and how much effort goes into creating competitions in our industry. If we attribute the same amount of effort to innovating in other ways other than competition, solving real problems that we've got, boy, oh boy, would we have a different industry. But this is the way that associations have tricked our industry into thinking that they can get ahead. They keep people underpaid, and those people want to strive to be different from each other. And this is the mechanism that's happening. It is not a healthy system at all. And then we go into judging each other through this process so we feel a sense of importance and we feel a sense of power. And somehow this is this kind of assessment of quality of somebody's ability as a barista. The whole system is rigged against you. Because quality isn't just about flavor, it's about your quality as a competitor, your quality as a professional, your quality in all of these different things, right? The part I don't understand is, how do we not see that this is a system that's rigged against us, whether it's from a flavor profile perspective, because that's a system that doesn't ever resolve itself. We're constantly chasing a new definition of quality. We're constantly chasing to win a competition that only one person out of tens of thousands of competitors wins. I have met, as an aside, more suicidal national champions than anything. That should disturb everybody. Most of the national champions I have met have confessed to me that eventually, when everything went quiet, they lost their definition of who they are. And that drove them to be suicidal. Say again?
That's sad.
But it's a reality for a lot of people. A lot of people get so addicted to the camaraderie, the perceived camaraderie, the attention, the hype around these competitions. They get addicted to the purpose of having something to do. I found my purpose at going to work every day and connecting with my customers. So I never needed that from competition. But if you're somebody who is addicted to that chasing and chasing and chasing, this can be like a gambler's addiction, these competitions. And then when it goes away, you're left not knowing what to do. You're feeling very lonely. How is that? That's the part of it that I feel like we're letting competitors down when it comes to quality. But I am sure I am missing something because everybody tells me you've got it wrongly. Like everyone that is in that competition part of the industry says it is the biggest high. It is great to be a part of something that's super important. It's life-changing for a lot of people, and that's where innovation is. But
to some extent, and you can agree to disagree, but I hear you when you talk about like the parts that most people don't talk about, and all we see is like the the honors and achievements of judges and competitors, and to be around other competitors. So I don't know, it's becoming like it is already. It's just like as you mentioned, it's all about the show and the competition, not the real things that we have to focus on. But also like to get back to you on the quality part that you mentioned about, like just their presentation, themselves, scales, coffee, everything. So the forms are designed in a way to encapsulate everything in a way. It's not perfect, of course, but every year it's getting there. So many things change for good. But again, like it's going to continue as long as there are many people who are really interested in pursuing that dream.
Yeah, we live in a fame economy, right?
Yes, so to become that rock star, and our industry feed from that making celebrities.
There's too many people that benefit from these competitions that are not involved in the competitions, and that's why they'll never go away.
Yeah, they make money out of it.
Yeah,
that's where the money is, where the focus is. But for a barista, I want to look at it. I would like to look at it from the perspective of a barista with a lot of passion, love for coffee, who got into the industry, especially if they're coming from my part of the world.
From Iran?
Where you have all this like, they love events, they love to be involved, they're passionate, they're really like talented baristas. And probably the only ray of hope that they can see that they can excel in their career is through the competitions and winning one, to become famous, to start to explore other part, because they've seen the pattern that happened to the champions before them, right? It creates a lot of like opportunities for those champions. And in pursuit of that, and for some people, it's just like, it could be like the hobby or the passion just to compete. They're competitive. Like, I used to be a professional athlete. So I get that. I get that, you love to go there and you love to
win,
challenge yourself, push boundaries. You want to win. Of course, it's there. So that's why it's really complicated to think about it. It's there because it's serving those needs, but the amount of attention that it gets and amount of budget and money that flows there, that's questionable. While we are struggling with so many things in the industry.
You know, I'm often left asking myself the question when I see people work so hard and they come in second as the national champion. And I see the disappointment on their face. And I think, I guarantee you, if they had have applied the same amount of effort and money to learning how to run a business, they'd end up 1,000 more times on top than what any barista competition is going to get them. But you don't see people wanting to make that investment of time and money. Like if you invested that time into coming up with a really amazing business plan or even an idea, and then you spent the effort that you put into figuring out your routine and coming up with your signature drinks and the effort of learning how to do that routine, you could take that same amount of effort, have an idea, come up with your pitch. You could work with a coach, a mentor, whatever, to come up with a pitch for an investor. And you could figure out a business plan to do that. And you will end up with something that is going to be with you for the rest of your life. And it's the same amount of effort, probably less money to do something like that. Why is that not attractive to people in our industry, do you think, who like competitors? Is it the competition part of it that is what they're chasing? Is it the fame part of it? What am I missing?
I'm not sure, but it could be any of these reasons for different individuals, to be honest. You know, this is not to disappoint or discourage anyone from competing, of course. If they see their professional growth in that way, it's one way. But there are many other ways to explore.
Right.
As you said, there are many other things that they can put their effort and focus on, and the resources, basically, into those things. And probably they get better results, but we don't know. That could be one reason. Fame is the other one.
Right. You raise a very, very good point. If you want to give yourself a competitive edge in your career in total, there are many other things that you can invest in your career that will give you a much bigger long-term competitive edge than your colleagues.
Yeah.
It will be just as hard. And if you're chasing like having a purpose, you will get that purpose but figuring that out, like go find a mentor, have this conversation with them, get them to listen to this episode and say to them, I want to figure out what my purpose is. I want to be competitive in this industry, but I don't want to be a part of competitions. Because Reza, the part of it that really upsets me is that I have met many people from Iran, from Saudi, from other parts of the world that are so deeply passionate about coffee and committed to competitions, and they can't go to the Worlds. And that makes me so angry. And what makes me more angry is that they know that and they still keep coming back and competing in case the rules change next year. It's not going to change. It doesn't feel fair. What does it feel like for you as someone in that position?
Well, I told you, like, we are all in voluntarily for the love of it. You know? So, I don't know. It just comes very as part of it. You know, just like being in the industry and the community, it's just like you're in this really big playground. Competition is also on the side, just like a festival, let's say, especially when you go to shows. So you cross path and you want to be part of that. And for most of us from this region, because of the limited access, the FOMO is a very great factor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is real. Like you can almost touch it here.
Yes, it's a fact, because like the moment like you're more limited, it grows more.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, as I said, it's complicated and it's individual specific why they want to go that way. Like for me personally, like as I said, as part of it, it happens. You know, you get good at something, like especially in sensory, you get invited to judge national competitions, and you get it from there. You know, you take it from there.
Okay. I guess there's, particularly coming from this region, it's nice to be recognized when you get invited.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's part of the business and personal branding or whatever, like anyone might call it. But it's part of the credits that you or achievements that you collect, like you know, just to have those sort of like credits for other people who wants to approach you,
right,
for your business, right? And this is becoming more and more obvious when you see more people show interest in becoming certified judges, because you know,
do people not get that that's just a money-making scheme for the SCA? You don't have to say anything.
no, I mean that's
anyway.
It's part of it.
It
You know,
is
it's part of it.
100%,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Like
the
that's
whole
the part of it.
the whole thing is part of it. The whole competition we are talking about. It's who's benefiting the most.
The SCA.
It's not the judges.
Part.
It's not the producers. It's not the competitors. It's the.
And if you guys wanted community, you could make community happen. It doesn't have to be around competition. The part of it, I think that I don't suffer fools very well. I don't like when people are manipulating other people. I believe that the SCA and the people who run these competitions manipulate the FOMO that comes from this region. They manipulate the need of people in this region to want to be seen, and they prey on it. They really like milk it for everything that they can. And something that we're seeing now is that the auctions that happen, in this region. I was approached to be a consultant on one of the auctions that happened at World of Coffee. And the company, everyone can look up who it was, but the company had contacted me and said, Lee, we want you to be a consultant on this project. We don't know anyone. And I'm like, you have to tell me how this is going to work for the producers, how it's going to benefit the producers. And they said, don't worry about it. We've already, the coffee's already going to be sold ahead of time. I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, we've already, the people who are organizing it are going to buy any coffees all up front. I'm like, so it's fucking rigged from the beginning. They're like, well, there's no chance of failure. Let's just say that. I'm like, I'm not going to be a part of this. And then my question was why are you doing this? And they're like, well, we want to enter new markets. So now what we're going to see is that people from the UK and from the United States are going to come here, and this is a fresh new market. They've tapped out America, they've tapped out Europe. Now they're coming to this region because we all want to be seen here. And I'm like, stop it. They're manipulating you. And people just look at me and say, but Lee, you have the privilege of someone who was raised in Australia. You don't understand how much of an opportunity this is for us. I'm like, this is not an opportunity. They're going to come, they're going to take everything that they can from you, they're going to use you, spit you out, and then they're going to fuck off to Asia and do the same thing there. We're just in the next target. So on that note, let's talk about the CVA in the next episode because we're right on target now.
But just to mention,
Yeah.
by what we mentioned about like the show and the SCA, but don't get me wrong, like we know that there are like really good people and incredible people working there and at the
Hmm.
whole different parts of the show, right? But it's becoming really obvious that all these shows are mostly like designed in a way to attract businesses and consumers, again, for this part of the world. It's
Yeah.
not really focused on the producing and the
Yeah.
you know what I
They're
mean. So
consumer
it's
events. They're not for the producers. The producers cannot afford to come to these things. Most producers.
yeah, yeah, and so many professionals who also have businesses. This is a very good opportunity to be there, to be seen, as you said. That's why everyone participates, and we are all part of the system because you also are benefiting from that system in a way or another, right?
Mm.
By recognition, by being around the other cool guys in the industry. But what really like bothers me is that we always talk about this as we are like a community, and when you go to a show, everyone's happy taking selfies and pictures. That's the reason we go there. You know, me, I can say that because I am from both
Right.
worlds.
Right.
I had that FOMO. I've been to these events. I met my idols who I
Hmm.
was like really like and am appreciating the pioneers. You go there to see people, to learn from them. It's all good, it's great, but it happens in such a short amount of time, and it's too busy in those shows that you don't get to talk about the real issues.
There's no real connection that's happening. There's no real
Yes.
discussions that are going on.
Yeah, when you see everything's good and everyone's happy, there you need to ask the question like why? Because if someone drops a bomb, then everything's going to be different.
And in a year like 2025, and what I expect 2026 is going to be like, those shows are an escape for the real world problems that most of us experience in our everyday lives in this industry. The industry is in crisis. These competitions are not going to save anybody. These competitions are keeping the businesses that are creating the problems in the business. We're not helping producers from this. We're not helping to strengthen the supply chain. We're not helping to spread the risk across the supply chain so that all of us are stronger players. We are feeding the shadow industry. The people who run these things, none of them are custodians of coffee. There's the main supply chain, and then there's the shadow supply chain, the equipment manufacturers and the associations and the podcasts and the consultants and all of those. That's the shadow industry. Competitions, shadow industry. None of these give anybody who is a custodian of coffee the opportunity to create something that is going to benefit the industry. A trade show is going to be the last thing they're going to do. It's a waste of money. It's an opportunity to get away from your life and go and see a whole bunch of people, have a great time, cup some coffee with them, go to parties, but your problems are still going to be waiting in your business. In a year like 2025, people cannot afford to pay for the coffee that they've got. And in the second half of 2025, if you're in America, you're trying to figure out how you can exit your business with anything left.
Mhm.
So when we're talking about having a quality career or a quality time in coffee, I look at the competitions and I worry for the people who are participating because it's a waste given where we're at in the history of our industry with technology coming, and we're going to talk about technology in the last episode, with all of these things that are coming. The role barista is going away. This is the time for everybody who competes in these competitions to start thinking about what their future strategy is going to be for when cafes are no longer staffed with baristas. Anyway, clearly this shit keeps me up at night. I really worry for the people who participate in competitions more than I worry for even producers, and I worry a lot for producers. But I watch these people talk about how they're assessing quality and they're taking course after course after course, and it's so that they can keep up their certification, so that they can keep going and judging and doing all this stuff. 3 years, 4 years. You know, there's one really great way that I can say this. Galton from Brewing Gadgets, he was going to come on this podcast, but he, let's just say it's not happening. He wasn't able to do that anymore. He said to me, the technology is already in their warehouse that can replace every single job that a barista does. Today, it already exists. Chinese have already come up with it. That should terrify every barista that's competing in competition and wasting their time in competition. In my humble opinion. But what do I know? What do I know? Anyway, we're going to save the rest of the technology conversation for the last episode of this series. In the next one, we're going to talk about the CVA and if it's fixing anything. So join us for that episode. We are failing quite badly with regards to our time limits, Reza. We're already at 35 minutes for this episode. Anyway, join us for the 4th episode of this series. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.